Hello everyone, welcome to another PS book reviews. Today we're going to keep talking about the complete fictions of H.P. Lovecraft. I've been reading a ton of his short stories that are comprised in this very long book, has most of his fiction works. So I have read six more since the last video. It's going to be part two of the previous video that I did reviewing this book in particular. I'm finding a place to place it. Um, so the stories that I read this time, which I'm gonna give a brief summary of, not I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers to the maximum ability. So I read The Terrible Old Man, The Cats of Ulthar, The Tree, Celephaïs, The Picture in the House, and The Temple. So quick rundown of each one of them and a rating of each one, how which ones I like the most and which ones I like the worst. The Terrible Old Man was pretty decent. I think I really enjoyed it. It's the story of an old man in a village. No one in the village seems to remember how old he really is. He always seems to have been old. And the story of a couple of people who decide to try to rob the old man. I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but it's an interesting take. Um, on a cliche subject. I think it was well written, well done. It's most of Lovecraft stuff, and I think it worked pretty well. The Cats of Ulthar was also very interesting. It's about the city of Ulthar and how it doesn't have any cats, or it didn't have cats for a few days. Um, they were just gone for a little while because someone did something bad to a few of them, and it's how the supernatural way of the cats kind of took care of itself, and the city became known that you shouldn't mistreat cats. I think it was pretty well written. In a few parts, it left a little bit to be desired in terms of build up, but you could sort of see what was coming already before they explicitly talked about it. But that was really, I think, was interesting, and it's like a reverse Pied Piper kind of thing, or at least it has some similarities to that kind of stories. The tree was also very interesting. It's about two sculptures that try to compete to do a statue, and one of them falls ill, and this tree grows from his grave. Very supernatural kind of thing. Not sure I'm quite convinced on what the origin of the whole thing was. If there was, maybe it was like a sub entendre that I didn't quite get from reading the storyline. I also read these stories before going to bed, which is not the ideal way of doing them, but usually just means that I'm quite sleepy already or a little bit sleepy, so I don't assimilate all of the stuff. Sometimes I skip a few pages, especially Lovecraft. It's a bit hard to do that with. Um, so descriptive. So either you really get into the story and you're reading everything, or you sort of drift off and then you have to restart the paragraph from start. And the tree was one of those stories that I had a little bit of that difficulty, and I didn't quite get all of the elements in. Felt a bit disjointed because of that. Not sure if it was me or the story itself, but overall it felt interesting, different from what you would expect. And I didn't quite understand the ending, the impact of the ending in itself. Maybe they just wanted to tell the story of a tree growing. Um, Celephaïs was also very interesting. This one I really liked. It was a parallel between the dream world and the real world. And in the dream world, this artist visionaire searching for this city called Celephaïs that he once visited as a youngster and keeps trying to find it again. It's really very interesting because you understand the parallel with the real world and the difficulties that he's having on the real world as an artist without money, struggling to survive, and he focuses on this big project that he's trying to reach Celephaïs in his dreams. Um, Not gonna spoil the ending, but it's really cool story. You should definitely check it out. The picture in the house was also interesting, bit more standard terror tale. Find an old abandoned house, which after all is not quite abandoned. an old person that is welcomes you in, but then starts talking a bit weird, and you start feeling a bit afraid for yourself. And it's about a picture in particular that deals with a butcher doing cannibalistic stuff, I think. And there's a whole blow up of that, a big finale that for me was a bit confusing. I didn't quite understand the point of the story, if it was just to make you scared, if there was something in the ending that was supposed to connect with the rest of I didn't understand the ending. The ending for me was a bit weird. But I did like the whole ambience of the thing. Was pretty interesting, and it was evolving well. But then the ending left a bit to be desired. Maybe I need to reread it. I don't know. If someone knows it, please let me know in the comments below. What's up with that? The last one I want to talk about, The Temple. Really good. Really good. One of the best that I read from Lovecraft so far. It's about the story of a German submarine amid one of the world wars, not sure which anymore. And some surreal stuff stopped happening, and the crew slowly starts getting diminished, and they struggle to survive, and it's the whole visions and stuff. And discovery of the supernatural and what is not surreal, but it's written in a very well way. It's written from the point of view of the captain, which is a very pragmatic and logical person, and he, even when he starts seeing things, um, he concludes that this is not possible, so I must be hallucinating. These things cannot possibly be true. I'm going to relate all of them in this final message and throw it into C for you guys to see. I'm going to tell you the whole story. So it tells the whole story when the phenomenon started happening up to the end, where he will most likely not survive. He says that on the beginning of the text itself, so it's not really a spoiler. Very interesting story, very claustrophobic and impending doom. Very like that. I really liked it. It's the classic terror Lovecraft thing that you feel like you're in a very bad place, and then even stranger things start happening, and you're even in a worse place. And this being told by the point of view of someone very logical, was also starting to get slightly terrified. You get more terrified than he apparently is, which is excellent. It's really excellent. Really liked this one, really got into it, really felt the desperation of the whole thing, and just being in this submarine is already so claustrophobic. Imagine being in a submarine that's starting to malfunction and people are starting to go insane, and there's some weird things going around. It's really cool. So if you don't read anything else from the list, I highly suggest you pick The Temple. I would not have picked this name for the story though. It's a bit misleading. When you think of the temple, you think of something that it's not underwater. In this case, they find some sort of temple underwater. A spoiler, or a little bit of a spoiler. But you usually would think that would be something above water. And in that sense, it's a bit silly. I think it should easily have been named The Letter from Captain Whatever, or Last Survivor. The letter from the last survivor of the submarine, blah blah blah. It would have been a lot easier to connect the dots between the title and the story. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure other people disagree. Anyways, that's all I had for you today. Hope you guys enjoy. I've been really liking to catch up on Lovecraft. As I mentioned already on the previous video, I'm a big fan of Lovecraft, but I never really read all of the stuff, so I'm really enjoying reading this one short story at a time, and it's been really good. So yeah, let me know what you think on the comments below. See you next time. Bye bye everyone. Take care.